Hello and welcome to the first installment of Decision Defiance 2025. I'm your host, Matt, and I'm joined by my esteemed Tide Talk colleague, Ryan, as we will interview half of the candidates seeking election to the Defiance 1636 Supporters Group Board of Directors. Alongside our campaign coverage, fellow Rhode Island FC podcast Raising Anchor will be covering the other half of the candidate field, so be sure to tune into their episode to hear from the remaining candidates. For our Tide Talk regulars, this is a bit different from our regular shows as this episode is pre-recorded and the chat is not live. While we might look polished, it's still the same show you know and love. So let's cozy up, crack a bear, and meet the candidates. Ryan, how you going? How's it going, my friend?
It's good. I'm very excited to participate in some form of democracy tonight. Hopefully we don't fuck it up. That's all I know.
Hey, we're going to do our best. Production value at an all-time. We don't have to monitor a chat. I think we're in for a good one here.
Absolutely, folks. So just a reminder of what we are talking about tonight. So as Matt said, it is the Rhode Island FC supporters group, Defiance 1636. There are two open board seats that will be up for election at the 2025 annual meeting. Both of these seats will be for a 3-year term running through the 2026 through 2028 USL season. We have our candidates here. These are all candidates listed. We'll meet a couple addition here, but if you want any additional information about these candidates, you can go to the Defiance 1636 website, and you'll see a elections 2025 link that will give you all the people running as well as some more information about them besides what you are going to learn tonight. Just a reminder that early voting does start Friday, so you can vote at a series of locations. Again, these are all listed on the Defiance 1636 website if you are just listening to the podcast. But it starts at High Motor on Wednesday, goes through a lot of our favorite breweries and places. And the big culmination here is December 12th at the annual meeting where you can vote. You do not have to vote early. You can vote at the annual meeting, which is December 12th from 7 to 9 at the German American Club. So can't wait to see you there, whether you vote early or vote at the meeting yourself.
Prost.
So, Matt, before we dive into the candidates here, I have been doing a bit of number crunching ahead of this, really trying to figure out get the pulse of what, who's in the lead here, what candidates are really kind of speaking to different parts of the people. So if we dive into the left side, we're seeing a real mix of candidates here. And this was a blind survey. We don't know which candidates are leading or not, but we're seeing a pretty big, and if you're listening to the podcast, I'm sorry for the next 5 minutes. This is going to make no sense. But the purple here has a
purple's coming on strong.
Yeah, in the corner over near like the pretzel. So it could be the pretzel party's influence. You never know what they're up to. When we move over to the upper tier, real mix of candidates here. You have the people in 207 with one thing. You have 205 with the big block. And then, the kind of away end section is real a mixed bag as well. Some people are asking if Tommy Quinlan has a big influence over here with this yellow as he's yelling out the window. No one can really know. But as we zoom in here,
gym shorts.
Yeah, and we zoom in here, though, we're seeing in the club seats, this orange is really cozying up to the elites here. They're taking the big pack money. They're not afraid to spend it. And this is very interesting to see how, does this, voting block really move the needle? But at the end of the day, I think this election is going to come down to this section here, and that's section 116. And I think that's where, the real candidates are going to shine. That's where the people are going to make their voice heard. And quite frankly, I can't wait to see what comes out of this, Matt.
That's definitely the heartbeat of the community right there in 116, and they're going to decide this election for sure. So make sure you are listening to this episode, the next episode at Raising Anchor, and really hear from the candidates so you can make a nice informed decision. But early polling shows a lot of interesting trends there. There are some united sections, there are some divided sections. So this one's really going to come down to the wire.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what happens, Matt.
Yep. So let's start with actually meeting the candidates. We'll start with we have Mr. Ryan O'Keefe. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm great. How are you guys doing? I'm trying not to laugh at all that, but it's good. Good analysis. Solid analysis.
Thank you.
That's it. We really got to take a look at these things. Really want to boil it down. We've also got Andrew Gomes. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. I'm happy to hear from the rest of the candidates tonight, and just looking forward to what I can do for this group going forward.
Awesome. And last but not least on our panel today is Merrill Sampson, aka MS Photo. What's up, my friend?
Oh, thank you for the Instagram plug again. Thank you for having me. That bit was a bit. It was there.
That's exact. Yep. Yep.
Everything we do is a bit. Nothing is It's all bits.
It's one of those things where like bringing people who aren't ever on the show on is like they get to see the sausage made a little too much, and I worry for them now.
All right, so we're going to start with Ryan O'Keefe on today's interviews. So each candidate will be asked the same questions, and the same questions will be asked of the other candidates joining Raising Anchor on their show. So you'll hear the same questions to each candidate across both platforms, and you'll get to hear every candidate's answer. So Ryan, let's start with you. Who are you? What got you into RIFC? And why are you running for the Defiance 1636 Board of Directors?
Yeah, sure. So Ryan O'Keefe, I started going to RFC games in the first season, pretty much the second game of the year. Once I heard everyone talking about how great it was, started going. Haven't missed a game since. Became a season ticket holder this last season. Absolutely loved it. Was introduced to Defiance actually through the Hills. Had no idea what the group was, and it grew on me. Got involved with Defiance by joining the merch subcommittee and kind of helping out there. And then when they had said that an open board seat was available and they'd like me to join, I was happy to take the position. So I've actually been serving on the board for the past 6 months or so. So it's technically my seat that's up for election. But otherwise, in my professional life, I work in a nonprofit for programs and operations, specifically in a creative realm. So I'm very familiar with bylaws and structures and working within the guidelines of what you can and can't do. Also a small business owner and able to kind of use the connections that I've built throughout the years and why I thought working in the merch committee was the best start for me. But yeah, it's been a really great experience. I think it's a phenomenal group. I've met a lot of really great people, and serving on the board for the past 5 months has been a really great experience, really eye-opening to some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I'm just hoping that I can continue to help out as much as I can.
Time's up. Just kidding. Thank you for that. Great answer.
Awesome. Andrew?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Gomes, 26, living in Cranston. Working as
Andrew, this is an election thing, not like dating profile. Come on.
I know. Got introduced to Rhode Island FC, Defiance 1636, right at the inception. Was curious to see what the local teams were in the area were, and I saw that there was a focus group that's going on, team that was coming to Rhode Island, and I was like, this is perfect opportunity. How often can you say that you're going to be a part of a team, seeing the team right from the grassroots growing up? From there was there at the craft burgers and beer at the logo reveal. Have been with Defiance ever since the first year. I fortunately am not able to make it to every game on the weekends because I work at a family's restaurant on the weekends, but every time that I am able to make it to a game, fully into the atmosphere, being a part of La Banda and just trying to drum up all the energy amongst 116 and extending it across the stadium. And
thank you for that, Andrew.
Sorry.
Ooh, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, being a part of Defiance 1636, just love being a part of this community and wanting to see it grow more and more, not just with membership, but with longevity through that membership. And I'm just looking forward to working with current board and future board.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Merrill, who are you?
Who am I? My name is Merrill Sampson. I've been a season ticket holder since the day of. I was bought in when they announced the stadium years before they even picked a team name and had a logo because I'm a soccer fan through and through. Been a season ticket holder since inception, been a Defiance member since inception. My background, as you know, you've seen me. If you've seen me in a game, you've seen me probably with a camera in my hand, maybe a beer too, but definitely a camera. I've taken photos for the team, for RA, for Tide Talk, for everybody. You've seen my photos everywhere. Super grateful for the access that everybody's given me. I really appreciate it. Why I want to be on the board. Defiance has taken me in like family. They beg me to come to games. Much like Andrew, I work in the restaurant industry. I work on weekends. That's where the money's made. So when I can go to a game, I go and I make sure I bring out content for everybody and take good photos and have a good time. And again, why I want to be on the board is because, Defiance is a great supporters group, and I think they're doing a lot of good things. I think, registering as an actual nonprofit, being a real 501c3 and trying to do this community outreach is huge. Trying to grow the fan base is huge. And, really trying to advocate for us fans in 116, and not just 116, but the actual fan base, and advocating for us to the powers that be at the club. I think those are all crucial things that this supporters group is doing, and I would love to be involved in that.
Thank you.
That's perfect. So we'll get to our first kind of in-depth question here. So Ryan, what is one thing that you feel that you can bring to the board that may be missing at the moment?
Well, I hope I'm bringing to the board what's missing at the moment by being a
Kind of
board
weird
member.
question for you.
It's a tough question. What I think the things that we really need to work on, which I'm hoping to dive into and have started to, is a lot of the back end work. As I mentioned, that some of the things that you don't see that we're constantly working on a regular basis, how to make it easier for us to track who's members, who's buying memberships where, so we know how big the group actually is. Where is the group sitting? How do we get them closer to the south end? We have a problem where double digits of Defiance are actually spread throughout other sections of the stadium. And what can we do to get them into the South Bank, if anything at all?
I'm just going to duck. Is that one?
Yeah, it's fine. Like I'm not in 116. I have a kid with sensory issues. We're nearby, but he can't be near the drums all the time, only when he feels like it. But it's learning about those kinds of things, working with a team, building a great relationship. Fundraising is another big issue that we think we've been able to kind of work through and help with, and hopefully seeing some of these new things were popping up in the subcommittees where, traditionally we only get an influx of money to be able to do all these game day activities through memberships once a year. And then we get a steady flow, but like, how can we continue to get funds to be able to do all these things that people really enjoy about the game day experience? So I've been very thankful that I've been able to pull, people that I know and the connections, and work with local makers and bring some of these ideas to kind of help work through some of those back end issues to make the experiences that people have better. I certainly don't know ball as much as other people. I am just learning soccer like everyone else, but those are kinds of the things that I've enjoyed bringing to the group.
Absolutely. And to be clear, none of us know ball. But Andrew, what about you?
Fake it till you make it.
I'd say Matt and I specifically. But Andrew, what about you?
I also don't know ball, so it is a fake it till we make it. I feel that currently Defiance 1636 board is doing everything that they can within their power to make this the best supporter group, not just in New England, but in the country. And I don't know what it is that I can actually add to the group at the moment, except extensive collaboration, hopefully more community outreach, not just within City of Pawtucket, but Central Falls, Providence, Cranston, Warwick, even south of Warwick. I know as Rhode Islanders, it's a little hard to get people to go.
That's a day trip.
That's a day trip. So I feel even extending it a little further south, even to even the college kids at URI, was down in South Kingstown this past weekend and just walking around Holiday Mart, and I realized I'm the only one wearing Rhode Island FC merch. And I know that there's a little bit of divide within that state of trying to distance wise, but even that a little bit of extension and outreach would be able to help this group grow in capacity.
Awesome. Meryl?
So previously in another life, I had a background as a journalist. I worked as a photojournalist here in Rhode Island. I would consider myself a communications professional. Some people may disagree, but that's some people. I would hope that I could bring that to the board, bring a wider communication concept to Defiance 1636 and what they're doing to get more buy-in. And then really outside of that, I kind of just look at this position as an opportunity to do three main things. I heard about this role, and there were three things I want to do if I were to take this role. I want to increase the size of our membership group, much like Ryan said. If I don't know about the back end, about the funding, but I understand the nonprofit sector, and if that's your main focus right now, and that's the majority of your funding, obviously we need to increase that. And I think that's just a base goal that I think we're all here to achieve. Secondly, again, we're a nonprofit. We qualify for grants. We do a lot of good stuff. We youth programming, all this stuff. I really want to start leveraging that. I have a lot of connections in the nonprofit world to do that. I also work in a nonprofit space. I've been in and out of nonprofit space in communications roles for a while now. So being able to leverage grants, using grant writers, finding someone who's willing to help us support, and then working with our other NGOs in the area. Like, we could be collaborating with so many other NGOs that are doing youth stuff, especially for youth soccer. And then my final thing, like I said, I addressed earlier, we are this club, right? That we sit in seats, we bang the drums. Everybody in this right here in this conversation, we're all in the promo pictures. We sell the tickets. So when the club makes a decision, they need to address us first. And I feel like there have been times where that hasn't happened. And I understand that the board has so much power and they need to maintain a good relationship with the club to get things done. But I hope to step in this role and, put the club's feet to the flames, hold them a little bit more accountable for decisions that they make. So that's how I think I would fit in this role. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Merrill. You mentioned these 5 mugs that have been on promo pictures. That is quite a decision by the club. I don't know if a sound one. Time will tell. Time will tell. The jury's out, and just like it is in Section 205 still right now on the voting. But we're going to kick into question number 3, and a couple of you kind of, went into this a little bit. So it's, what is your plan to increase the number of Defiance members? And then in parentheses, specifically in the supporters section. So I guess you can take a look at this one twofold, as how would you look to recruit new members into the Defiance, and how would you convert those members to joining us in the supporters section? Joining like myself in the supporters section, not Ryan. So we'll start with you, Ryan O'Keefe.
Under the bus. So I think that there's some plans in work. I think that we have to look at where we have our biggest presence, especially on game day in the tailgate lot, where a lot of people know, like, oh, that's got to be the Crazies, that's a supporters group. But even across that divide, when where you come into the parking lot and you start seeing the people who are just regular people, we've got to do more evangelizing. We've got to be talking to people outside and inviting them into the tailgate. We've got to be making these postcards that say, like, literally, have you heard of our Lord and Savior Chip? Like, we are Defiance. And like really starting to bring these people into the fold and across that literal road and finding out what it is. What is the tailgate? Who are we? What do we do? And it's not that we're just the Crazies in the end section. It involves all of the good things that we do, all of the stuff that we do with like Central Falls Soccer and the other community work that we do, the food bank work that we recently did, donating shoes, which was Irvin's project, which was great. There's a lot of things that we do outside, and it's all about growing the game of soccer within the state, and that we just need to kind of let these people know that that's what we do. Bringing them into the section, I think, is a completely different issue, and we need to actually figure out within the membership, why are people not moving into the South Bank? Is it the noise? Is it a preference? Is it as big of a deal as we're actually making it to be? Is there anything we can do with the team specifically, working with the ticket reps, working with the people assigned to Defiance as a ticket rep, to incentivize people to kind of move into some of those sections that are closer, like 118 or 113 right there on the corners? That involves kind of working with the team and seeing what they're willing to give to make that South Bank a little bit more raucous. But by growing the numbers and kind of pulling people closer into the stadium, I think we'll kind of figure out the best ways to get there. It's going to take a lot of evangelizing, a lot of print, and a lot of really good communication. Like Merrill said, I think he'd be really good at this. Like, it's communication and telling people who we really are, not just the drums that keep beating.
Thank you for that, Ryan. In your response, I've envisioned the new HBO series, The Righteous Chipstones. I'm just saying, we can sell the rights to that. I think no problem. Andrew Gomes, we'll kick it to you. Same question. Your plan to increase the number of Defiance members and specifically target more members to the supporters section.
I agree with Ryan that there is that little bit of a rift in between, not a rift, but like that little bit of divide even in M7 parking lot, where it doesn't feel like there's an olive branch that's being extended to people that are on the other side of the parking lot. Even if that includes a small group of volunteers going to that, across that other side, letting them know what this group is all about, the charitable acts that have been involved, not just all of the theatrics that happen during game day, but everything that's happening off the field, outside the stadium. I think that's gonna allow people to be more inclined to figure out what Defiance 1638 1636 is. Look into us more. If we also have to do a guerrilla marketing campaign where you put the flyers into the windshield wipers, that can also work as well. But I do agree that there needs to be a little bit more of, not that effort, but allowing people to know that it's not just everything that you see in the stadium, but all the charitable acts, everything that's being done on the outside of the stadium.
Thank you for that, Andrew. Merrill, your thoughts on this?
My thoughts. I think at this point we're at max buy-in when it comes to overall general fans of Rhode Island FC. It's been 2 seasons, back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals appearances, 1 Eastern Conference Finals champion. Should have been 2. It's a different story. But I think Rhode Islanders know that there's a soccer team here, and the ones that care about it are here. They're at the stadium. They're at the games. They're in the parking lots. As Ryan said, how do we reach them? Olive Branch. I think having that mindset is good, but I also think that the buy-in needs to be outside of game day. And like Brian said, again, we've done mutual aid, we've done the food bank, we've done the shoe drive. They were both extremely successful. How do we continue to do more mutual aid, build up that community, and then get people to buy in terms of, oh, I'm part of the supporters group, and it's cool, 1, because they do all the drums and the flair, it's all the energy, but 2, I'm also contributing to the community that the stadium is in, that the team plays for. Like, I think the buy-in comes for new fans in that section is more outside appearances, whether that is doing mutual aid through food drives or expanding the youth programming. Like you said, they've hosted plenty of games for youth tournaments, doing more of that and just really hammering away to those people who are outside of our network. We are Defiance 1636. This is not just fans. We are a specific fan set, and we put this work in outside of the stadium, 1, to benefit our community, and 2, to benefit the game day experience. And I think if you focus on the first one, the second one will come. I think if you build a big, strong community network, we're going to not only attract people that are already in the stadium to be like, hey, I really want to be a part of this. Maybe I don't even want to sit in 116. And again, we want as many people as we can get, but I think that's not a big fish to fry when it comes to membership. Membership numbers are important. We need dues. We need money so we can continue to do good work. We need money so we can shoot flares, so we can afford new drums, new banners, all that good stuff. So dues are important. Would I like everybody to sign up and be in 116? Yes, but I don't think that's realistic, and I don't think there's much that the board or us as a fan base can do to change people want to be in that space. The people want to be in that space are in that space. We could try to bring new people in, but I think in general we should be trying to bring more people in general, just be supporting the community and what we're trying to do. And again, it'll just all come together. And it may not come together in 116, but it'll come together in the stadium as a whole.
Thank you.
Listen, campaigning on flares and pyro is it's not a bad strategy. But another topic that a lot of you just mentioned, I think, is really relevant here. So, Ryan, first to you, what opportunities do you see for Defiance to further its community efforts here?
So I think there was something like we've considered the stadium and everything surrounding the stadium, the RFC community. I'm from Warwick. I can tell you that there are people even just this far south who have no idea who plays in that stadium. They know that there's a stadium and that they've heard that there's a possibility of a soccer team. So I don't necessarily agree with the notion that like everyone in Rhode Island knows that there's a soccer team, and if they don't know by now, they're not going to care. I think there's some opportunity to work a little bit further outside of that. I mean, we are Rhode Island FC, not Pawtucket FC, Central Falls FC. And I think that there's some work that we can be doing in other communities to start spreading the word of. And I think the soccer team actually needs to be doing this too, to be honest with you. I know that they're everywhere. They're at the Bristol 4th of July parade. Like, they're doing all of these things, but like they're not, like, we're not pulling the people from the rest of the state. And I think that there's something that we could be doing. But I think that there's opportunities for us to be using the ticket links that we have for cheaper tickets to be inviting our neighbors. We use those. I invited the neighbors, our neighbors in our neighborhood. They brought 3 families and 4 kids. They had the best time. I invited them into the section. they just bought 5 season tickets and they're looking at joining Defiance and getting 3 memberships. They talked to me at the school parking lot the other day. They had a blast. And that's really where it's going to be, is our current members using the ticket links to invite their neighbors and bring people from outside the stadium area to the stadium to see what it is. And from there, that's how we grow. I think that's really the opportunity for Defiance here.
Perfect. Andrew?
Kind of piggybacking off of what Ryan said, just word of mouth, wherever you go within the state, allowing people to know what it is that Defiance 1636 is a part of, just letting them know that there's even a team that's being played in Pawtucket right now. If we were to do community outreach, I would say also, I don't know if this is going to be allowed, but school drives, going to college fairs, setting up a little booth if anyone wants to volunteer. I know that's a lot to ask for, but even little opportunities like that, letting the students know, letting the parents know, just spreading the word about this group and the team.
Awesome. Meryl?
I agree with Ryan 100%. This is not our job. This is the club's job. It's not. They want fans. They got to get their own fans. We'll do some work, but it's not our job. Willing to help, but it's not my job.
Yeah.
In terms of,
let me maybe I think maybe I didn't ask this question very well. So we'll do another round on this one. But what the thing I was getting more at is less about like us getting more Rhode Island FC fans and more about like the community outreach that the Defiance is doing with things like Project Goal, things of that nature.
Yeah, again, that falls within the scope of mutual aid, of good community work, of what makes Defiance 1636 a 501c3 that's necessary. And continuing, again, to do that work outside of the stadium so we are valuable to the community. And I kind of wanted to counter at what Ryan said. I understand, like, I live in the East Bay. I know a lot of people that don't know what Rhode Island FC is. I wear my jersey about it proud. I talk about the games all the time. You know, word of mouth is huge, as Andrew said. It's very important. But I think those communities are important. But you have to remember, we just dropped a stadium in the middle of Pawtucket. Like, they just changed the whole dichotomy of that community. Like, it's very important for us, specifically Defiance 1636, who was hanging out in that parking lot in Pawtucket, who was having events in the Pawtucket area because that's where the stadium is, to support that community. Because, you know, they kind of got this thrown at them. They didn't really have much of a say in it. And we owe it to the community of Pawtucket to make sure that everything that is RIFC and Defiance 1636 included, benefits their community, because we just dropped a multi-million-dollar stadium in their community. I do think we should do community outreach all over, but I think Pawtucket should be first in line. Always. Always, always, always. And yeah, just continuing the community initiatives.
Awesome. And Andrew, just let you have one more crack at that one too, and we'll go back to Ryan. He's been first every single time.
Snake.
Yeah. And the answer could be I gave you everything. So yeah.
I don't feel I can do myself any justice more than what my fellow.
I just want to make sure the question was framed properly.
Equal opportunity.
Yeah, equal opportunity. Ryan, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I agree. Like, supporting the community around the stadium, we need to be good stewards for this team, whether we like it or not. And that's the thing, is like, we are, even when we got in trouble, you know, the whole thing that happened with Hartford, like, it was assumed
We don't talk about that in this podcast.
Sorry. But we have to be good stewards for the team, and we have to be good stewards for the community overall. And that's why we've been very good about doing things with the Central Fall Soccer, the youth soccer, and having booths set up and being with the kids and doing the Halloween things and just showing face and making sure that we're doing things within the community. I think if there was opportunity for us, if we're not talking about growth, this needs to be the most loved but hate to see it coming fan base for the entire USL. We need to show up, and we do show up. We are currently probably one of the most feared and admired touring groups, but we need to do that away from home. We need to do, like, I like to think of like the Buffalo Bills fan base, like, great fan base, hate them to death, but they donate to other players' causes when they do something, just to kind of give them that prick of like, yeah, thanks for the 5 goals you let in. Everyone in Defiance is donating $5 to the charity of your choice, goalkeeper from the other team. Like, thanks for the win. Like, things like that. I think that there's a real opportunity for us to become the most admired but most hate to see fan base coming for the types of things that we do. And I think we're well on our way to be doing that. But it comes down to ideas, and that's why I'm glad to see so many people ran for the board. Like, I love to see the diversity of ideas that are coming.
I love the shit housing aspect of that. That is good stuff. We're on to our final question, gentlemen, and this question draws you the spotlight, Cam. So as you answer this one, you're going to be full front and center. So if you're listening to the podcast, come check these guys out. And we might get an explicit rating just for this section based on some of these mugs going up there. But since Ryan just went, we're gonna go back around the snake, and we're gonna hit it with you, Andrew. You have first crack in the spotlight, Cam. Why should people vote for Andrew Gomes?
I don't appreciate being front and center like this. Anyways, why should you vote for me? I just love this group. I want to see it continue to grow and grow. I feel like I can just help be a steward for the passion that other people can bring to this team. And that's all I want to see. I want to see success with this group, translate that into the stadium, translate it to the community. And I feel that's why you should vote for me.
Thank you for that, Andrew. Merrill, you're up next. Here you are, my friend.
Let me sit up. I gotta the camera. Why you should vote for me? As I said, everybody here is a great candidate. Whoever you pick, it's going to be a great choice. But why you should vote for me? I believe that this club is important, but I believe that this supporters group is more important than this club, because in all reality, we don't know where the USL is going to go. We don't know where RIFC is going to go. We don't know what the future holds, but I do know that this supporters club is going to be here forever. And they'll support the next soccer team here. If RIFC were to pick up and leave today, RI Defiance would be at Providence City FC games tomorrow. They'd be at some non-league team. We would just do it. And I want to make sure that continues to be a thing. I want to help lay the groundwork so that Defiance continues to stay around no matter what happens in Rhode Island. There needs to be soccer in Rhode Island. There needs to be soccer in America. But we're here for Rhode Island. And our job is to continue to spread that. And through the graces of Rhode Island FC, we get to do that. And I want to continue to do that. And I want to make sure that no matter what, Rhode Island Defiance 1636 is supporting soccer in this state in some way, shape, or form.
Thank you for that, Merrill. Last but not least, let's hand it to you, Ryan.
Whew, okay. Well, why should you vote for me? I'd like to say that you would like to keep experience in there. It's been a good 5 or 6 month run of kind of learning the ins and outs of just being a board member on this particular board. And I would love to keep that seat going. I think I have a lot of really good ideas. We've been working on a lot of really great projects that I'm really excited to share with the group come the annual party. I think that there's a lot of work that people don't realize that happens. This is a full-time job if you think about what the current board does between managing the Discord and the finances and the grant writing that we do currently do and the NGO stuff. There's just a lot to be done. I think we're going to be extra thankful for another set of hands. I hope to be one of the set of hands that continues to help out. Even if I don't, I'm sure you'll see me in the merch committee and still making stuff, and I'm happy to help out where I can. But I'd love to get everyone's support to continue the work that I've been doing for the past 5 or 6 months.
Thank you for that, Ryan. Deep breath, gentlemen. You made it through.
The gauntlet.
The meat gauntlet, as Timmy Sclafani would call it, is over. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us. Taking the time to talk about your candidacy and why people should vote for you and weigh in on some of the issues facing the supporters group. So really appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. Ryan?
No, definitely really exciting. This was, I didn't know what to expect, honestly, coming into this. And this was awesome. I feel like I learned so much about each and every one of you. And I feel like I already knew each and every one of you. So I think this is going to be great. And yeah, if anyone's up in the air, I guess if you're this far in the episode, I hope you heard it all. But yeah, I think this was awesome to get to know all of you deeper and, give everyone a sense of what you could bring to Defiance and like why Defiance means so much to you. So really appreciate you all taking the time here.
Awesome. Thank you again, guys. But that'll wrap things up for this one. We just heard from 3 great candidates for the Defiance 1636 board of directors. You can hear from the rest on Raising Anchor and their podcasts and YouTube streams. So make sure you check them out to get the full election picture and see all the candidates and get all their thoughts and everything before you vote. But you can also find Tide Talk on everywhere you get your podcasts: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. You can click a link in our episode description to follow all of our accounts. Thanks again for tuning in. For Ryan, Andrew, Marilyn, Ryan, I've been your host, Matt. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the tide.
Up the Tide.